Hello there and welcome back to another edition of the Hollow Classic Remastered. This time we're taking a look at the 1990 Nissan Primera 2-litre TE. This is our third Primera to take on the course, and this is the only Primera in this game that actually went on to have a life outside of GT1 and 2. This car was in 4, 5 and 6 as both the Primera and as its hastily rebadged American equivalent, the Infiniti G20. Polyphony evidently decided that the 1990 Primera is the most iconic of them, and I guess I agree. This car was a bit of a quiet revolution. The Primera never really got much notice amongst UK buyers because it was a Nissan, and look at it, I mean, don't get me wrong, this one's got a body kit and a race mod and all that, but you can still tell underneath this is, you know, a handsome car, but very boring. So it didn't really get much notice there, but if you drove one of these, you knew that it drove fantastically, that it was dynamically spot on. It was so good, in fact, that when Ford were building the Mondeo, the car that they spent £1 billion developing, they originally used the Honda Accord as the benchmark, the 85 Accord, and then as that went on to its later stages, the 1990 Primera ended up becoming the benchmark. That was the best four-door saloon car on sale for Ford, and that was the car they had to beat, which is interesting. Of course, the Mondeo would end up going on to be very successful and, well, far more successful than the Primera ever was, but it's still there, got that nice little footnote in history. Also got a good racing career. Of course, there's a lot more to speak about when it comes to the 98 Primera, but this particular car is in a JTCC livery. I believe this may have been a championship winner in 1990 or 1991. I honestly don't remember. Of course, if you couldn't tell, this would have been a Calsonic Impul car. Even though the game uses the Calsonic R34 and I think even gives the Calsonic logos to the race modded R32s, the Primera, for whatever reason, did not get that luxury, so it just says Primera Nissan on the side of it, because I guess you need reminding. It is quite a generic looking car, so I guess you do need reminding. Anyways, statistically, this car is not anything to write home about. Front engine, front wheel drive, 297 horsepower, 1079 kilos. Pretty mediocre statistics, and that's sort of what we expect from this. But anyways, this car is going to get 6 laps of the Motorsports Land track in order to set the best time it possibly can. Our current leader is the Mitsubishi GTO LM Edition, set a time of 27.223. The Primera unlikely to beat that. The Primera, where is this going to end up? Well, the two other Primeras we had the 1995 2-litre TE. That was a car that ran around when this series was in its infancy, but still, that set a time of 31.245. And more recently, we had the 1998 Primera GT go around. That set a time of 31.108. And if I'm being honest, that's sort of where I expect this car to end up. Pretty much mid-pack on the as far as the leaderboard's concerned. Now, that being said, should the Primera manage to break out of the 31.1s and go a little bit quicker than that, it would do it a world of good, because this part of the leaderboard is very crammed with cars. So there is definitely some, there's a lot of places to be made in just making up 0.1 or 0.2 of a second. So hopefully this can become our quickest Primera yet. I think statistically this is the lightest Primera yet. The 95 has a little bit more power, but this has the weight advantage. One thing the Primera definitely has going for it is very, very nice to drive. 31.065, that does make it our quickest Primera. That was a pretty spot-on lap as well, to be fair. Yeah, it's very nice to drive. It's maybe a touch understeery at the limit, but what front-wheel drive car isn't? The one thing the Primera does avoid, especially with how light it is, and considering it is almost touching 300 horsepower, we do see front-wheel drive cars at that sort of level start to have handling issues. They can start really moving around, especially on the rear end. We've seen that on cars like the Integras, well as this doesn't have that issue. This is just nice, planted, solid. That does give it a little bit of a problem in the sense of trying to make up lap time on this is a bit difficult, especially with a car that sort of handles as good and as rigidly as this. There's not really a lot of spots to out-handle yourself and make up time because you sort of get in it, turn the key, and you roughly know where all your spots are going to be. This isn't one of those cars where, you know, you're making up new lines to enter corners and you're trying to sort of, you know, push yourself that way. This is not that sort of car. This is very much, you know what you're going to get out of it. This looks like it's going to be a pretty good one though. Nice little cut across the grass. Slightly ahead. Again, I don't expect this to be like a chord beating or anything, but it is going to be a little bit quicker on this final lap. 30.797. That's actually really quick, if I'm being honest. That's surprising. Yeah. Interesting. A good car to drive. Like I say, it is a good car to drive. You can't fault it. I'd say that lap time, to be fair to it, is probably the absolute maximum of what this would get. I don't think if you really... I don't think this is exactly 0.5 head of the previous Primera. I think this just got a better final lap in than that other Primera did, because... yeah, I don't think it'd be going much quicker than that, but either way, yeah, we take those. 30.797 will place this into 164th place. It splits a load of Hondas up, goes quicker than an NSX, and that's the quickest NSX we've had. So that's good. It's actually not far off the benchmark, the EG Civic, which was a really good car to drive. And actually, in Gran Turismo 1, you'd see these cars sort of share events quite a lot together, which is interesting. Stuff comparable to this, it's quicker than Citroen Zara, quicker than the Opel Tigra, definitely better handling than that was. Quicker than the Opel Astra by about 0.2. As mentioned, it's about 0.4 up on the Primera GT, 0.5 on the 95 Primera, but I don't think it's that much quicker of a car. I think, again, it just got good with the lap times, but there we go. That's where it sits. So good job, Primera. And yeah, thank you all very much for watching. Join me next time when I will be driving something completely different. Until then, farewell.
Knowing just where my hopes and dreams are going.